Happy Gilmore 2 is not good. Disclaimer, everybody, disclaimer. As a 33-year-old straight cis man, I was once a 13-year-old straight cis boy.
That's how the numbers go.
Which means that I did in fact love the shit out of 90s Adam Sandler movies. However, when I heard that they were making a legacy sequel to Happy Gilmore, my response was something along the lines of, oh, God, no. Because to me, legacy sequels of comedies that came out almost 30 years ago are a lot like a week-old Taco Bell that's migrated into the back of your fridge. Stale, not nearly as flavorful as it once was, and is never going to be as satisfying despite desperately trying to be. This movie is stale Taco Bell. Because even with my basement-level expectations that I had going into this, and the edible gummies flowing through my blood system, oh yeah, this movie is even worse than I thought it might be. Maybe even week-old Subway tuna bad. Ugh. And I know, there's many people who disagree with me, which is perfectly fine. I am far from the harbinger of all things funny. But the one thing I do take exception with is the people who say, come on, man, can't you just relax and enjoy this stupid movie? Can't you just have fun and not be so negative all the time? Because to that, I stand before you today to proclaim that I, for one, think you deserve better. I get it. All of us, me included, are overworked and underpaid.
Coming to bed, honey?
Yes, dear.
But that doesn't mean that you don't deserve better than a comedian in his 50s putting zero effort into a sequel because Netflix dumped a pile of money on his doorstep. So don't yell at me in the comments to tell me that I have a stick so far up my butt that it sticks out of my mouth. I have a bad case of nerd neck, and I'm pretty sure that would at least fix my posture, because it is that serious. And you should expect more from a 2025 Adam Sandler comedy. And this movie gives you
nothing.
The humor.
Humor? What humor?
Comedy is subjective and all of that. Some people like chocolate, some like strawberry. Some like it hot, some like it cold. Some pee into the toilet, some directly into their own mouths. Different seeks for different peeps, if you will. But I didn't laugh, guffaw, or even let out an apathetic heh once during this entire movie. Did you laugh at the repeated jokes of this one guy having fart breath?
Dude, get your skunk breath out of my face or I swear to God.
Fart, recognize.
Maxi good. Here, give me a jacket.
I'm literally smelling it from here.
I have gingivitis. It's hereditary, okay?
Or when Happy Gilmore's statue looked a bit funny? I will say that at least the old man version of his happy place was pretty fun. Oh no, it's Rob Schneider. I think the heart of the matter of why this movie just does not work for me comedically is that pretty much everyone, save for his daughter, is a zany goofball even when it makes no sense for them to be. In the first movie, Happy Gilmore takes fastballs off of his chest to prepare for hockey tryouts. So in this one, the pro golfers who have been golfing their entire life and have made millions of dollars doing so do the same thing. The original certainly has its fair share of wacky characters, but the movie still feels fairly grounded in reality, with Happy being the oddball who doesn't fit into the prestigious world of professional golf. This movie leads me to believe that Happy Gilmore 2 takes place in an alternate reality where all of the golfers have been introduced to the wonderful world of huffing gasoline. And speaking of taking fastballs off the chest, you can especially tell they didn't exactly have an Amazon warehouse full of jokes prepared for this movie, considering most of them are just rehashing of jokes from the first movie. Hey, do you remember when Happy Gilmore liked to make things look like a dick at his job? Well, his sons do the same thing. Hey, do you remember the "you eat pieces of shit for breakfast" line that you've heard over and over again ever since the first movie came out? We had to make a reference to that too.
Why would I want to steal the life of somebody who eats pieces of shit for breakfast?
Do you remember when Happy hit the lawyer through a pane of glass because they were repossessing his grandmother's house? Kind of, because it's kind of a forgettable scene and not what your brain goes to when you think of that movie. Well, don't worry. because we'll make sure to show a flashback so you'll remember. And speaking of, it feels like they do flashbacks to the first movie constantly. Remember? Remember?
You got any tips for me?
Relax, just do what we talked about, huh? It's all in the head. Yeah, it's all in
Remember? Not to be a dick, but if you are one of those people whose response to the critics of this movie has been, can't you just enjoy the stupid movie? Let me ask you one question. Are you ever going to find yourself watching this again? Because why would you need to watch this movie again when the majority of the jokes were done better in the first movie? But by far, the worst callback in this entire movie is...
Jackass. I just don't give a fuck.
Get it? Eminem is the son of the guy who says jackass in the first movie, so he says it too. And when he gets eaten by an alligator, he says, I don't even give a fuck. Because that's one of his songs. Man, the cameos in this movie. The thing is that a cameo can be great. Bob Barker, for example. Or Johnny Depp in 21 Jump Street. Well-placed, clever cameos that are a joke in and of themselves. But it really loses its luster when every few seconds you're sitting there going, oh shit, it's that person. Any potential funny cameo is ruined when just a few minutes later, Post Malone is sitting there, being Post Malone.
Woo!
And because there are so many, every cameo is pretty much done in a tone meant to non-verbally wink and nod at the audience, almost to say, isn't it so crazy we got this person? For me, this ends up ruining cameos I might actually like. You know, like NBA player Boban Marjanovic might actually work as the son of Happy's boss. It's objectively funny, because, like, look at him. But it ends up drowning in an ocean of cameos. Hell, I even think putting professional golfers in this movie hinders the tone and are nothing but more cheap cameos.
Hey, don't twist my boy's titties. Those are my titties.
So I believe that I've been able to show that this movie isn't very funny and relies on cheap tricks to make you stick your head back up from your phone to pay attention from time to time. At least it makes you feel something though, right? The kinds of feelings that reach down into your soul and make you feel vulnerable. This movie has no heart.
How do you feel, Timmy? I do not.
You know, something that I kept thinking about while watching this movie is that the skeleton for a good movie is somewhere there, even if it's buried deep underneath murky, alligator-infested waters. At heart, it's a story about a washed-up has-been needing to get his drinking under control to take care of his family. But it's hard to take that seriously when much of the alcoholism is played off for laughs. And the thing with his daughter wanting to go to dance school is fine, but it kind of feels like it's forgotten about for big chunks of the movie. When he wins the big golf tournament at the end, it's like, oh boy, he saved the entire sport of golf. Oh, and yeah, he won the money to send his daughter to Europe. Pick a single struggle, dude. I'm almost starting to feel bad about how often I refer back to the original, but what else am I supposed to do when that's all this movie is leading me towards? Because it feels like in the aforementioned original, Happy has one single obsession: getting his grandmother's house back. Because the only thing that can come close to stopping him in his endeavor is getting hit by a literal car. It's an all-consuming obsession. Oh, and would you look at that? He loses his grandmother's house within the first few minutes of the movie. Whoops. All of this tied together with the general sanitized look, including possibly AI, makes it so that when he does win the big tournament at the end, I feel nothing. And don't say, but it's a comedy. My favorite comedy of all time, Shaun of the Dead, also has a moment that brings me to tears at the end because that feeling is earned throughout the entire 100-minute runtime of the movie. Also, after I watched Happy Gilmore 2, I fell down a rabbit hole of watching other comedies of a similar ilk. And even with a movie like Dodgeball, a movie that, as much as I still do really enjoy it, is kind of stupid. But when they win the tournament at the end, I feel a bit of something. And, oh yeah, good for them kind of feeling. And that's because the movie has a good mix of humor and heart, despite Vince Vaughn playing a pretty unlikable dude in almost everything he's in. Conclusion. And after all of this, I still haven't convinced you. Let me ask you one more question. How far does the can't you just enjoy the stupid movie go? Can you say the same thing about a movie like, let's say, Jack and Jill? But maybe I should just stop being so cynical so that I can enjoy jokes like Mexicans drive a lot and Jill sweats a lot.
I am not talking to you. I am talking to Aaron. Aaron, I gotta go make some chocolate squirties.
Shut up! Shut up!
Adam Richard Sandler is a wildly talented actor who at this stage of his career lets us look for his shadow periodically to let us know if we're going to be in for another cycle of bad movies. Because unfortunately, his studio, Happy Madison, has put out almost nothing but garbage for going on 15 years now. And I don't know about you, but I'm really not into talented actors half-assing it for the check because the studio knows there's a built-in audience for whatever nostalgia bait slop they're cooking up now. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I've wanted to make a YouTube channel for a while, and this is my first video, so I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Also, feel free to tell me in the comments what I can do better next time, because this is kind of a work in progress. Have a great day.